Victor was also up at 3 or 4 o'clock his time, and I think he sent a text to me early this morning. It's wonderful kind of news. Victor, you wanna before we get kicking on the
Oh, it
show?
was, well, how do I put this? I had a mucinous I had it because I hope it's gone, but it is. They cut it out along with a lot of other lung. But a mucinous adenoma carcinoma is a very strange, tumor, but more stranger is let me get this straight. I'm not trying to show off knowledge, it's just that it's been imprinted in my brain over.
Dr. Hanson?
No, I am. Yeah, PhDs are not supposed to refer to
Right.
themselves as doctor under polite parlance, Jack.
Correct, I understand.
Uh, it is um, the cras, KRAS G, G12 dash R mutation, and that's 1 in 200 of this
Yeah.
rare type. And unfortunately, it's one that is found in the pancreas. So people were very worried that it might have come there or would go there. So what they do is they have a new test. They had the Grail test. That's one that people may have known about, and you might want to inquire about it. Everybody, you take it, and it finds circulating DNA of any type cancer before it appears in a tumor form. It didn't work for me because when they found this mass in August of this year, they gave me one of those tests at this longevity center, and it was negative. And of course, they didn't, and they scanned it with an MRI and a CAT, but it was probably malignant at that time, so it didn't detect that. But it's otherwise they claim 98% accurate, but it didn't work for me. But this test was very much different. It takes the tumor's footprint signature, that mutation I just mentioned. And then I had another bad one, the STK. Bad in the sense they're aggressive and they recur more likely, and you can't treat them. So if it comes back, you cannot use really immunotherapy or chemo. Um, so the only chance you really have is to get it all. And the new test called Signa Terra takes the tumor's actual footprint or sign or fingerprint, and then it takes your blood. You wait 20 days, 30 days after surgery, and then if a trace of that tumor's DNA, and I mean a trace, is in your circulating blood, it'll tell you. And if it was in there, I would have I guess they would have used kind of a last desperate attempt at blanket chemo, even though it wouldn't be targeted, and it would have a 5 to 10% efficacy rate. And I'm still getting over the losing half my blood volume, and anemia and AFib and stuff. So I wasn't looking forward to that. And if it was negative, that means that you will not have a tumor likely, although the mucinous strain is a little hard to detect, so that's a problem. But other than that, it says that I can wait and watch and wait. And that means that every 4 or 5 months, I'll take this biopsy test and get a CT. But as I understand it, if you get the initial one after surgery, that's a good sign. And then
Right.
each test that you get subsequently that's negative, statistically, the chances go down that it won't be positive as much. And the literature, as I was told, was that 40% or 4 out of 10 patients with this type of tumor will have it recur, but unfortunately, the R strain of this tumor means you can't do much about it.
Right.
So that it becomes more important with the R mutation and the STK mutation, that if you do get it, you're in bad shape. It's not going to be immunotherapy or chemo is going to stop it.
Right.
And it can come back in the brain or the liver or the pancreas. So I had a very strange dream, and I was kind of floating around, and I asked somebody if I was dead or alive, and they said, "I don't know, but you should wake up." And so I woke up and I thought, why not go to the portal of the DNA? But it's been a month, so it's kind of been stressful, a month. The test became existential because it determined your entire post treatment. Either you're gonna have chemo or you're not. And then if it's positive, you don't have a good prognosis. If it's negative, you got a much better chance. So it was kind of more important in my case because of the inability to treat the tumor should it recur. And something said, "Go to it." And I said, "No, Sunday morning? That's neurotic." And so I just happened to, and this big red thing said, "Check results." And I thought, "Wow, that's why would it be red?" You know how you get paranoid,
Yeah.
overthink things? So I did, and then before you they wouldn't even let you see the results. They said, "You must read about what the results mean." In other words, don't go shoot yourself if it's positive, I guess, or don't go think that you're cured if it's negative. So I read that, and then if you read that, then you finally get to the results, and it said negative. So I was 3:30 or 4, I was very relieved
Good. Well, the
for
need
now.
for you to, yeah, well, God bless, and the need for you to endure prophylactic chemo is off the table for at least the time
I don't
being.
think I would've between you and me, I don't think I would have made it because, I've still got a heart problem from the blood loss and the transfusions, and I'm pretty dizzy, and you never know. I am getting better. When I got out of the hospital for the first week, I couldn't walk over 300 steps, and my wife and I did 7,000, 2 days in a row. So I'm getting better. I can't drive yet, but it's only been 7 weeks, and a very good doctor who I consulted, 2 of them, just a wonderful man, Robert Cerfello at NYU. I think he's one of the best surgeons in the world. He was, very and then I had, a surgeon at Stanford, a very good surgeon, Doctor Barry, and then a friend had Doctor Nieva at USC who was wonderful, and they all were very supportive and said, "It's gonna take you a little longer than most people that have a lobectomy and removal of the big lobe because of the, aneurysm you experienced and the bleeding," and Doctor Berry was very skillful to get me right out of ICU and right back in and reopen and find that thing because I was really bleeding. It's kinda like Arnold. I was reading about Arnold Schwarzenegger. Somebody sent me a nice article, not a nice article, but a sad article that he had gone to Cedars-Sinai for a new type of, um, corrective surgery of I think a valve or, a defect he had in his heart, and it was just the same thing. It was a great thing, and then all of a sudden, he started a massive bleed, and he almost died, from what I can tell. That was about 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, the
Anyway,
combination
that's
of
people don't wanna hear about that.
they, yeah, that's why only millions are praying for you. So your prayers worked, folks.
I could feel them. I know that that sounds, uh, supernatural, but I do believe, especially I I I was overwhelmed. We probably have the things that came at Hoover or to our house or on text or phone, probably 1,000 people, and as I said before, it's so moving to see these people who write these beautiful calligraphy. We had 2 friends, Jay and Jennifer, um, she wrote the most beautiful calligraphy I've ever seen in my life. 4 pages. And then I get people who will write and say, "I'm 84 years old. I remember so well the Korean War. I'm living alone. Don't give up hope. 13 years ago, I was told that I had 6 weeks to live, and they took out my entire lung. They said I wouldn't be able to do it. I just hiked the other day at, 86." That was very inspirational. I got so many of those,
Right.
and I was really did not expect it. I really didn't. I did not expect any of that.
I've got a lot of
And
emails. How can I write to Victor? And one lady wrote the other day, I want to write him because I've essentially because she has lovely handwriting and she liked that you had talked about this. You're getting notes of
oh my
beautiful
gosh,
penmanship.
I
So,
said to myself, I said to my wife, I said, they should start teaching calligraphy again,
yeah,
cursive handwriting. It's such a beautiful art,
yeah,
and it's so much more personal than just typing. And
right.
it was. And then my mother was an appellate court judge and died of cancer very early at 64, 5, and my daughter died of cancer. So the appellate court judges, this is a big appellate court judge in Central California. They were very friendly, and one of the justices, Brad Hill, he hand delivered to our house a boysenberry pie and this kind of boutique ice cream, and it was just splendid. And then all of a
The
sudden,
good kind of, person that shows up at your
yes, and then
doorstep.
yesterday he came through and he just dropped it off in the porch, the same delicious ice cream, but this time homemade, bakery, the homemade bakery type chocolate
Yeah.
chip cookies and stuff.
Yeah, terrific.
Yeah, I'm
You
very fortunate, and,
you are, but so are we.